congratulations, Anthony, on your first feature film.
Oh, thank you for that.
A true story, actually quite a horrifying one in some ways, but also very inspiring at the same time. And I'm wondering if that was why you went for this particular story for your first feature.
It was. Like, I actually didn't know too much about the attacks prior to seeing the documentary Surviving Mumbai. And yeah, what really grabbed me was you know, these epic tales of you know, of a struggle for life and survival, where you had like perfect strangers in many cases acting so selflessly, you know, trying to be there for one another to get through this sort of really horrific ordeal. And you know, I couldn't comprehend, to be honest, how it took so long for the security forces to arrive, and it was left to everyday people to rise up. Waiters, chefs, you know, backpackers, you know, guests, all these different people caught up in the attacks, regular people who, you know, had no option but to help one another. And I did find that really inspiring, for sure.
And given the scale of the events and the number of people that were involved, how did you manage to distill that all down into a film of about 2 hours? And indeed, the same with the characters, because there were hundreds of people involved, but yet you've got quite a tight cast for this one.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't with a hell of a lot of planning. It was a lot of intuition and a lot of just being open to the stories that we heard. I think the research guided a lot of what we did. We sat across the table from dozens of survivors, guests and staff and others involved with the attacks, and you know, we just tried to be as kind of as honest as possible in reflecting what they went through. And so, you know, had we just, it turned out that we had spoken to sort of fewer people, maybe 1 or 2 people, perhaps it would have been a single protagonist story. But you know, having all these different influences coming in the way of our research ended up meaning that, you know, it was this ensemble piece that sort of wove itself together.
And the crowd scenes particularly are so impressive. They're really noisy, they're really sort of chaotic. How did you go about orchestrating all those people to create them?
That's a good question. We wanted it to feel as real as possible, and so it wasn't so much about composing the action for the camera, but kind of letting the actors take the lead and following the action. So like when it came to staging a scene, again, it wasn't like you've got to hit that mark and come over here and we're going to capture it like this. It, you know, what the cinematographer to a lot of the rehearsals, we let the actors do their thing, and we kind of try to capture it rather than orchestrate it. And that, together with intersplicing archival footage, I think added a lot to that sort of frenetic realism.
It's taken a while for the film to get to us. I'm assuming that hasn't dampened your enthusiasm for filmmaking in the slightest.
No, not at all.
So what have you got coming next?
I'm writing something. You know, it's a. I don't know if I should bother you with what it, you know, is about specifically, but it's another.
Yes, you should bother me. Come on.
It's another true story. It's a period piece. It's set in the 70s, and you know, it's a pretty you know, it's a pretty hairy ride through some dark corners of southern states America.
So really quite different to Hotel Mumbai.
Yeah, it is.
We'll look forward to it.
Thank
Anthony,
you.
thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.